Time is of the essence. We must assist our allies.
8 more days left until Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ooh, everyone's gonna roast it to high heavens, folks. Now they're involved in a scandal. I mean, what's next? Stocks has plummeted, disrespecting Japanese, and refuse to take any criticism. I mean, what's next? So I'm gonna react to a bit from Dr. Disaster, and then we'll make a comparison of which you should do before the release date.
But anyhow, let's talk about this Ubisoft situation because this sounds absolutely insane. Apparently, the trial for these alleged crimes starts today over in France, where, of course, Ubisoft is based. It sounds as though there are a total of 5 executives who worked for the company who were arrested. But let's read about it in this article here from Smash JT, which I will link in the description. And also, a quick shout out to YouTuber Hypnotic, whom Smash mentions brought this story to his attention. Anyhow, the article mentions the names of 3 of the executives who are standing trial: Serge Hascote, Thomas Francois, and Guillaume Petrou. And then the article says here, the case, which first erupted back in 2020 following a wave of anonymous testimonies on Twitter, has now been brought to light through investigative reports.
Before we let Dr. Disaster continue, think about that for a sec. What's happening during that time? Yes, George Floyd, BLM. And trust me, I don't know how much damage these BLM rioters have done, only to find out it was a scam all along. It took them, what was that, 5 years? My God, 5 years just to bring to light. Oh, thank God for Trump. Now, I had to assume these anonymous testimonies, they predict that if Trump was in office, they could immediately brought it to light. I had to assume that way. Based on this, at least they want to remain anonymous. Despite Trump is in office, there's still some people who are trying to double down. So it's pretty warranted. But let's continue.
The initial fallout was almost immediate, with Hascote, Ubisoft's former creative director and number 2 in command, resigning, while Francois and Petrou were dismissed for serious misconduct. Now, fast forward to years after the alleged toxic workplace behavior, they'll now finally be forced to answer for their actions in court. The allegations against Francois, who served as Ubisoft's vice president of editorial, are particularly disturbing. Testimonies from the plaintiffs paint quite the horrifying picture of the workplace environment he fostered. His behavior had reportedly included publicly playing adult films at full volume, forcing surprise kisses on employees, and degrading colleagues with insults such as bitch, ugly, and slut. One incident even described him coercing a newly hired employee into doing a handstand into an open office while wearing a skirt. In another, he allegedly tied an employee to a chair, placed her in an elevator, and sent her to another floor. Actions that sound more like fraternity hazing than professional conduct. It's like I said before, the male feminist trope is a trope for a reason. They often work and fraternize with people and organizations like this because it provides adequate cover for their horrible behavior. The article then talks about how this same guy is accused of trying to kiss a gal at a company party while others held her down. This is the sort of thing these people are being accused of. Suffice to say, these don't sound like particularly civilized people, which likely explains all the virtue signaling from Ubisoft. But what makes it worse is that, for all the bluster that people within the industry go on about with regards to toxic culture among gamers, the culture within the industry sounds extremely messed up.
Before we let him continue, yeah, it is pretty messed up. When I was a kid, I always asked myself, who is making these? What was their intention? I mean, I didn't know about that because I was too busy with the game. Now I'm grown older, I always ask myself, who exactly is responsible for my games, or perhaps any games that are being kaput or low quality? When you're a kid, you always think that, yeah, it's just a small company or a few people here and there. Turns out when you grow older, you found out the hard truth. That's just the reality.
It says here, the real horror of this case isn't just the actions of a few men, but more so, Ubisoft's complete failure to stop any of it from happening. According to the investigation, Dozens of witnesses were heard, yet many declined to file complaints, fearing retaliation from the gaming industry. Yes, the same gaming industry that these game journalists champion as being the pillars of virtue. Why, if you have even a single critical word to say about the products that these people make, to them, that is a clear indication that you must be a bigot of the highest order. The culture built up behind the scenes within the industry is all about fear and intimidation from the sound of things.
Yeah, that's right. They're afraid. And this is why many of these people who are leaking this are going to YouTube. They're going to Endymion, Hypnotic, Smash JT. Because usually, according to Hypnotic, this kind of thing, these leakers or anything, goes to the journalists. However, recently, journalists are in cahoots with the video game industry because they want free swags. And thus, where do these people who remain anonymous will go to? That's correct, YouTubers. They will go to people like Hypnotic, Smash JT, Vera Dark, Side Scrollers. Who else? Atreus? Yes. If you really want historical accuracy, I think you should try Medal of Honor Allied Assault. Although I don't know if it'd still be playing it. Now, thing you need to know, they have one main game and two expansion, Breakthrough and Spearhead. Now, majority, like I said, the majority content in there are basically accurate. Well, King Tigers and all that. Although I'm not certain if it's true. Although French Resistant, that is true. But America in Russia, I'm not certain that is true. Except, of course, Americans in Bastogne, that is true. And Americans with the British paratroopers, that's also, I don't know for sure. But Breakthrough, at the end of it, Monte Cassino, that is quite accurate, okay? And trust me, Monte Cassino, the whole nation rallied together just to take that position. And it says it's a symbol of the United Nation. So if you really need historical accuracy, try out Medal of Honor Allied Assault series or other Medal of Honor series. Rising Sun, Frontline, whatever it is. If you do not wish, play Assassin's Creed Shadows. Or if you want to troll them, play Yasuke Simulator. You know, at this point, I think Ubisoft is probably not going to survive this. Assassin's Creed Shadow will make or break Ubisoft. For Project Hex, or in this case Assassin's Creed Hex, that still remains to be seen, but that only be a possibility if Shadows were a success. In this case, it's not going to happen.
Your might on the battlefield proved most impressive. With a little more training, you will be right up there with me in no time.
So leave a like and subscribe if you want woke or anti-woke detected, or you just want to see me play games. Visit my second and third channel up here or link in the description.